Today we have some really bad news about this stuff here. It's called the dollar. It's called toilet paper. It's called fiat. It really should have been FAKE, fake money.
In a recent episode of his Rich Dad radio show, renowned financial author Robert Kiyosaki issued a dire warning about the state of the American financial system. He characterized it as not only bankrupt, but also corrupt, a scathing indictment that demands our attention. At the heart of Kiyosaki's concerns lies the issue of unsustainable debt and excessive money printing. He argues that the United States has become the world's biggest D-nation, printing vast quantities of money without any real backing. This, he warns, creates a system inherently prone to collapse, leaving individuals and the nation as a whole exposed to devastating consequences.
Subject of money and gold, and this is gold and this is silver. They're massive subjects. Gold and silver have been around for 5,000 years. And so today when I meet those young kids who are stackers, and they think they're Donald Trump stacking, 500 silvers, I kind of back off because they lose the reason for it.
But Kiyosaki doesn't simply paint a bleak picture, he also offers solutions. He emphasizes the importance of understanding money and its true value, moving beyond the illusion of fiat currency and recognizing the enduring stability of real assets like gold and silver. Gold, in particular, has a long and storied history as a reliable store of value. Unlike paper currencies, which governments can endlessly print, gold's finite supply and inherent properties make it impervious to inflation and devaluation. Owning gold, Kiyosaki argues, offers a crucial hedge against the potential downfall of the current financial system. However, understanding money goes beyond simply acquiring gold and silver. It requires financial literacy, a skill Kiyosaki sees as woefully absent in modern education systems.
And America was founded as a tax-free nation. But as Fuller says in here, our school teachers are the problem. Our school teachers know nothing about money. They're like my poor dad, PhD, poor, helpless, desperate, and broke. And when my dad died broke, after pounding on me for years to get my PhD, I said, Dad, if I get a PhD, I'll just wind up like you, broke.
He blames this lack of knowledge for leaving many individuals vulnerable to the pitfalls of the current system, unable to navigate its complexities and protect themselves from its potential dangers. But before we proceed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned till the end of this video to learn more about what this means for you. Robert Kiyosaki paints a grim picture of America's financial landscape using stark language like biggest D-nation and corrupt to highlight the severity of the situation. But beyond the alarm bells, Kiyosaki pinpoints 4 critical problems contributing to this perfect storm. 1. D-nation and the printing press. Kiyosaki argues that America is drowning in debt, fueled by an insatiable monetary printing press. This constant creation of new money, not backed by any real asset, dilutes the value of existing dollars and drives inflation. One example of D-nation and the printing press is the hyperinflation that occurred in Germany after World War I. To pay for the war reparations imposed by the Treaty of Versailles, the German government printed massive amounts of paper money, not backed by any real asset, such as gold or silver. As a result, the value of the German mark plummeted and prices soared. A loaf of bread that cost 250 marks in January 1923 cost 200 billion marks by November 1923. This devaluation of the currency wiped out the savings and incomes of millions of Germans, especially the middle class and the poor, who could not afford the basic necessities of life. The economic and social chaos caused by the hyperinflation contributed to the rise of the Nazi Party and the outbreak of World War II. Imagine a pie being cut into smaller and smaller slices. Everyone gets less, even though the pie itself has grown. This debasement of the currency erodes purchasing power and savings, disproportionately impacting those living paycheck to paycheck. 2. The trust gap. In an era of misinformation and political polarization, Kiyosaki sees a widening chasm of trust between the American people and key financial institutions like the Fed, Treasury, and the current administration. This lack of faith in the experts makes it difficult to implement solutions and fuels anxieties about the future. It's like being on a sinking ship with a captain you have no faith in. Panic and indecision set in. 3. Financial illiteracy. Kiyosaki blames the education system for failing to equip individuals with the basic knowledge and skills needed to navigate the complexities of the financial system. This widespread financial illiteracy leaves many vulnerable to predatory practices, poor investment decisions, and a general sense of powerlessness over their own finances. It's like being lost in a foreign land without a map or a compass. Every step could be a misstep. 4. The echoes of abandonment. To illustrate the gravity of the current situation, Kiyosaki draws a parallel between America's financial trajectory and the withdrawal from Vietnam and Afghanistan. Kiyosaki's comparison of America's financial trajectory and the withdrawal from Vietnam and Afghanistan is based on the idea that both situations involve a loss of trust and credibility. For example, he cites the case of the South Vietnamese Army, which was abandoned by the U.S. after the 1973 Paris Peace Accords and left to face the communist invasion alone. He also mentions the plight of the Afghan interpreters and allies who risked their lives to help the U.S. and NATO forces but were left behind in the chaotic evacuation of Kabul in 2021. He argues that these examples show how the U.S. has failed to honor its commitments and obligations, both to its allies and to its own citizens. He warns that this pattern of betrayal and broken promises could have serious implications for the U.S. economy as it erodes the confidence of investors, creditors, and consumers in the U.S. dollar and the U.S. government. He suggests that this could lead to a collapse of the U.S. financial system and a global crisis. These four problems, intertwined and reinforcing each other, create a precarious situation for America. Kiyosaki's stark language serves as a call to action, urging us to confront these challenges head-on and seek solutions that prioritize financial stability, accountability, and individual empowerment. To understand the current financial climate, Kiyosaki urges us to take a historical journey, examining the evolution of the U.S. dollar and its relationship with gold. This journey involves three key turning points. 1. The Golden Days, pre-1971. Before 1971, the U.S. dollar was linked to the value of gold, a precious metal that is scarce and durable. This meant that the U.S. government could not print more money than it had gold reserves, which limited inflation and maintained the purchasing power of the dollar. Under this system, known as the gold standard, anyone could exchange their dollars for a fixed amount of gold at any time. For example, in 1960, 1 ounce of gold was worth $35, and one could get that amount of gold for $35 at the U.S. Treasury or any Federal Reserve Bank. This made the dollar a reliable and stable currency, trusted by both Americans and foreigners alike. The gold standard also facilitated international trade and investment, as it provided a common measure of value and reduced exchange rate fluctuations. 2. The Nixon Shock, 1971. However, in 1971, President Nixon severed the direct link between the dollar and gold, ushering in the era of fiat currency. This means the dollar's value is no longer tied to any physical asset, but rather determined by government manipulation and market forces. Imagine the vault doors being flung open, the gold claims disconnected from their tangible backing, a shift that caused uncertainty and unease. 3. The resurgence of gold, 2019. Despite the rise of fiat currencies, gold hasn't faded into obscurity. In 2019, the Bank of International Settlements, a powerful entity overseeing central banks worldwide, reclassified gold as a Tier 1 reserve asset. This means gold, alongside certain government bonds, is now considered one of the safest and most reliable assets central banks can hold to back their own currencies. This move signaled a recognition of gold's enduring value even in the age of fiat currencies. Understanding Tier 1 assets. Tier 1 assets are akin to the bedrock of the financial system. They must meet stringent criteria for stability, liquidity, and global acceptance. Governments and central banks hold these assets as a safety net, a source of strength and stability in times of economic turmoil. Imagine them as the deepest, most resilient layers of the Earth's crust, the foundation upon which everything else rests. Kiyosaki's historical glimpse serves a crucial purpose. It highlights the volatility of fiat currencies and emphasizes the enduring value of tangible assets, like gold. By understanding these dynamics, we can make informed decisions about how to safeguard our finances and protect ourselves from potential economic shocks. As the closing notes of the discussion fade, Robert Kiyosaki delivers a powerful conclusion, a clarion call echoing amidst the financial shadows. He warns once more of the potential for collapse, urging listeners to shed complacency and actively prepare for turbulent times. This is not a moment for idle optimism, but for decisive action. The gold standard of preparedness. Kiyosaki's solution is clear. Invest in gold and silver. These tangible assets, immune to the fickle whims of fiat currencies, offer a safe haven in the storm. Imagine them as sturdy lifeboats, ready to navigate the choppy waters of economic uncertainty. He encourages listeners to diversify their portfolios and seek refuge in the enduring value of precious metals, empowering yourself one step at a time. But knowledge alone is not enough. Kiyosaki issues a potent call to action. Educate yourself. Delve into the complexities of the financial system. Understand the language of money and equip yourself with the tools to navigate its treacherous currents. Imagine yourself charting your own course, wielding knowledge as your compass and resourcefulness as your sail. By heeding Kiyosaki's warnings, learning from the experts, and actively diversifying their portfolios, you can weather the potential storm and secure their future amidst the shifting sands of the financial landscape.